And onward to progress we surely will. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together. So much of things that we need to see about. Surely I do have to spell them out. Cause you know as well as I do, the only way is put in more effort and less play. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production.
Now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production. Welcome to the Dynamic Hour. Again, another opportunity that you and I have to converse, to talk, to have a dialogue where we can understand each other. We may not agree on everything, but we will come to a common understanding at the end of the conversation. We are in post-burial period. The hurricane came, it devastated parts of Grenada. Well, Carriacou and PT Martinique, 90-something% of the housing stock and everything else gone. So our people are pulling together to bring relief, to bring some form of normalcy back into the lives of so many people. It will take some time to get back there where you were, or even to surpass that. It will take some time, but you have to start somewhere. And I think NADMA, the volunteers, the utility companies, everyone, you're doing a fantastic job. You're working day and night to help your fellow man, or to help your neighbor, to help your friend. And among all of this chaos and crisis, we have people who are standing strong, who are resilient, who are not breaking because there is no electricity, or because there is no water, or because their roof gone, or because their home was totally destroyed, or because they lost all their, animals, or maybe they lost their boat, or their vehicle, or maybe their business partially destroyed, their livelihood gone. They are not breaking still. That is how resilient our people are. They are not. They're standing firm, being hopeful that tomorrow will be better. The next day will be better. Things will, turn out for good. We will rise from the ashes. We will rise from the ruin of Hurricane Beryl. So let us continue on that path to build and build back better than before. Churches are doing their part. Community groups are playing their part. International and regional bodies, they are playing their part. So things are happening for our people. in the initial stage, because of technology, there were a lot of false information disseminated out there, and that continues. You cannot run away from that. There are people who think personal. So because they have a personal need, they then go off on a tangent and put stuff out there as though everybody is experiencing the same thing, the same condition, the same everything. And when you investigate, it might just be them. So like you're in a community, there is no water, they go on social media and they start cussing Nawasa, not understanding that Nawasa is stretch. They're trying to restore, uh, you know, the dams and the water in so many places. It's not easy for them. It's a hurricane after all, and it devastated, it damaged most of the higher parts of the country, meaning, where the dams are located. You have a lot of the forest areas where so many trees fell. So you expect a lot of damages to happen. And Nawasa is working day and night to get that back. So some people will not get water for a period of time, but they're working. It's not like, they stop work and everything is just left to be the way you think it is. No, they're working.
We need something to hold.
Yeah. So that way the pipe breaks?
Yeah. We're starting to get the loading.
Yeah, so don't believe Nawasa is not working. Nawasa is working day and night. It's not easy. And remember, these same workers, they have a family too. And their family may have been directly affected by the hurricane, but still they're out there working. Still they're trying to restore water to you. There are some people, they think personal. If something is being distributed in the community, they want all. Once they don't care about the elderly neighbor or that family with 3 children. They don't care about that. It's about themselves. So Nawasa trying their best to distribute water in areas without. Many a times they have to make 2 and 3 and 4 trips to serve the different communities. It's not easy. So we have to kind of have a little patience and understand that it's not normal times. We just came from a drought, a very severe one, a severe dry season. Now we went through Hurricane Beryl, and it affected nearly all the dams that Nawasa has. And we need to start listening some more to the press conferences so you get the information from the source. Because we had at the press conference the manager or representatives from Nawasa giving updates. Same thing with Grenlec giving updates. Our beloved Prime Minister gave updates also for the utility companies like Flow and DG and so on. We need to start listening some more. There are too many people depending on hearsay. And you're getting that from some of those who should know better. They're on their podcast, they're on radio, and it's just hearsay. And they hear that one say, and they hear that one say, and they're not factual. And that would go out there, and rumors will spread. That is why I love this gentleman in PT Martinique, where he cleared the air. He said, look, there is this rumor out there that we don't have food in PT Martinique. He said that's a lie. We have too much.
All right, so there is a perception out there that we in PT Martinique, we're in trouble for food or whatsoever. What I would honestly say that there is too much food on island at present. And I think this food needs to be channeled to one entity, which is NADMA, to distribute the food properly. And NADMA now, and the people out there who's sending in all this food because of what they're hearing, which is not true. Because there is an abundance of food. Look today, we have about 3 different groups from Grenada cooking. And who's going to eat all this food? A lot of the old people is gone. Few people is in the shelter is cooking, and there is an abundance of food here. So NADMA should channel the energies, and the people who donating should start channeling the energies now to materials, because this is what the people need now to cook over the head. So they should start bringing in materials, but bring it in through NADMA, so it could be distributed properly and orderly. In times like this, look at the wharf. So you're seeing all this chaos and this and that, and what people running up, down, left, right, center, just picking up, because everybody, just different organizations just sending things, and they're not sending a representative. They're not sending a representative to distribute it properly. All they're saying is going to the shelter. But the people on the wharf just picking up, and you would expect that in time like that. But that not that we are suffering for any food or anything like that in PT Martinique. So I think NADMA, everything, well, I'm putting that with government of Grenada, get this thing right and channel everything now through NADMA, so it could be distributed properly. And like now, pull up on the food. Bring in the food, let NADMA stock the food, and stock the food. And next month, when reality hit, month after, when the aid stop coming in, we do some wonderful distribution. So a person could come and get a bag that could last them for the month, and then we move from there and start channeling the energies now to materials. There is lots of food on island. World Food Kitchen now come with the helicopter. Look at organization, they're cooking. Country Coal cooking in the school. The shelter cooking. And next organization now come to cook food again. What are we doing with all this food today? If it was channeled through NADMA, one group could have come today, one come tomorrow, next week, and so on. So what are we doing with all this food today? Who eating all this food? So I think we're starting to waste food. So this is what I need to say. The government should start channeling and get everything to NADMA. And let me get this thing in an orderly fashion. We good? Nice.
This gentleman said it the best. He's on the ground, and he's correct, because everyone wants to go there and do stuff, which is great. You believe that that's the need to cook, right? PT Martinique is a very small place. Couple of hundreds of residents, and as he rightly said, the elderly folks, they removed them already from the island. Same thing they're doing in Carriacou, to have them come down to Grenada. So it has to be done in such a way that it's so organized that 2 months down the road, they can still get stuff. They can still get aid, right? 3 months down the road, they can still get aid or relief. That is important. So I think this gentleman is correct. We need to see at least some kind of coordination where that is concerned. In Carriacou, we hear the NNP, for example, they intend to go up there and cook. Okay, it's a good gesture, better late than never, right? They were pressured by the public saying, hey, you need to do something. Don't stay on the sidelines and complain like this. So they decide, well, they're going up there with some stuff to cook. But you have people up there cooking already. So many people cooking in Karakou. They don't have a shortage of that. Then they propose to go with some portable toilets in Karakou. But the question is, where do they dispose of the waste and all those different things? Who's coordinating it? Do you just set up these things in different places? So you have to be very careful, because you may create an environmental problem if it's not well coordinated. It might be a good idea, but it has to be properly coordinated with the relevant authorities. So while you may want to score political points and you want people to believe that you just wake up and you decide you're going to do something and you want your name all over it and you want to be front and center, okay, but you can create a problem. You may think you're solving a problem, but you may create a worse situation. That is why NADMA is the authority to deal with. So while it's all good, you put up a pic on Facebook, you're going to distribute portable toilets, right? You're going to set it up in Karakou, and you're going to be doing hot meals in Karakou. It's all for political mileage. Okay. All right. But do they really need hot meals right now when you have 5 and 6 organizations doing the same thing? What they need right now is to get back into their homes, at least those homes that lost their roof. So not those that are totally destroyed. You have to start from scratch, right? I remembered after Hurricane Ivan, Samaritan Purse, same Samaritan Purse, they constructed homes where they did the flooring and they did the roof and they put the tarpaulins around as side walls. And the people were able to go back in their homes at least, right? And then over time, government had people come in and do the side walls, the boarding up, and the partition, and that kind of thing, and windows and doors. I remember that is what happened after Hurricane Ivan. But we want to build back better than before. So things do take time. But the people who have, a house where they lost their roof, but the house is still intact, I could tell you the feeling. They want to go back in their home. So there are people out there who, in Grenada, you're comfortable, you did not get any major damage. So it is easy for you to say, well, the people in Karakou, what the government should do is to take them from Karakou and bring them in Bushiju in the Chinese housing scheme, or bring them in Corinth housing scheme, or bring them in St. Patrick housing scheme, or bring them in wherever they have these housing schemes, the low-income Chinese houses. This thing is easy for you to say. But if you go and you speak to the people in Karakou, they will tell you they don't want to leave Karakou. They want to stay and make sure that their homes are rebuilt. Excuse me. They will tell you that. And that's a kind of natural feeling. They don't want to leave their island and come to Grenada. The elderly folks, well, they don't have a choice. But generally speaking, they want to be able to go back in their homes, even if it's taking the wood or the galvanized and the other things and put something temporary. They will do that. I'm telling you. So there are some people who believe that they can just dictate what the government should do, as though it's a communist state. Take all these people and bring them to Grenada and leave the island bare. No, it doesn't happen that way. It doesn't happen that way. if you go on the ground and you speak to the people of Carriacou, and people who experience Hurricane Ivan will tell you that even if Ivan destroyed their roofs and parts of their homes, they still went and they savaged certain things and built up something, Yeah, and they remain in their house. They want independence. They want to be comfortable in their own space. It could be very uncomfortable to leave your island and come to Grenada and have to be in an environment that you're not accustomed to. Right? So again, we have to be very cautious how we do things. And I think the government is going about it the right way. The right way. Let's take time, right? The people, they are being fed, which is good. They're being clothed. So they get in food, they get in clothes. There's little areas where they can sanitize, bathe, they can brush their teeth, they can, be clean. There are some who went back in that damaged home and took the clothes, wash it, spread it. I saw photos of that, videos of that, where they went back, they washed their stuff, they fold it up, and they, you salvage what you could salvage, what you could use and so on. Some people went back, they get their pots, their pans, their, things that they could save, that they could still use, because there's some connection with those things. So there are people who have been doing that, which is great, because you're kind of starting to rebuild. It may not be the structure yet, but you're putting your things together to rebuild. And that is how it always happens, right? So I'm saying we have to be patient. We have to understand the situation that we are in. Everything would not happen one time. After any hurricane, you would find a lot of specialists, right? They become experts on everything. They become experts on how to build. They become experts on how to provide the relief to the people. They become experts even in the medical field. They're not medical doctors, but they become experts in medicine. They become all kind of stuff, advisors here, there, and everywhere. And you ask them, but where you got that skill set from? All of a sudden, because of the crisis, right? And there are those among us who are malicious. They still vex that the NDC won the election and the NNP lost, and the NDC is managing the crisis well, right? They're still upset. So they would do anything to derail the recovery. They would do anything to put misinformation out there. They would do anything to make people believe otherwise. Because remember, the people who are viewing those programs, they're not physically in PT Martinique or physically in Carriacou. So if you are in the United States, for example, or Canada, or the UK, and you view those programs and you listen to some of the things that the moderator or the people are saying, those who are malicious, you would believe them. It is easy for you to believe what they're saying. Excuse. And liars have a good way of coming across convincing. So I am still saying to all of us to tread cautiously as you listen to different programs, you follow different programs. You have to kind of use your own knack, your own instinct, your own conviction. You have to discern, decipher all the noise, all the information, decipher, good or bad, whether it's true or false. You have to be able to do that because everybody putting stuff out there. Everybody. Some of them, they're putting it up and they're pulling it down after condemnation, after criticism, after people say, hey, come on, this is a disaster. Everything would not happen overnight. The system is not perfect. But relief is coming. Things are happening. The government only recently sent up some new vehicles to Carriacou, right? Only recently. They sent up some new stuff to Carriacou and PT Martinique.
So we're here on the barge, and on the barge here you have 11 brand new vehicles, utility vehicles that are needed right now to move the debris, to remove the rubble, to ensure that we're opening up all of the roads, to ensure that everybody gets the aid that they need. We have a lot of goods going into Carriacou and Petit Martinique, but as we got word that some of the aid was not being properly distributed, as the information came in, the government quickly responded and acted. So you see here, we're ensuring that we have food going in, fully loaded, onto these trucks. So once these trucks arrive onto Carriacou and Petit Martinique, they could just be driven right off. They're already coming filled with aid. As you see on the back over here, we also have heavy equipment to move the trees, move any of the very heavy branches, move roofs that are in the road where the manpower is sort of limited right now in Carriacou. We're also sending additional volunteers as well to ensure that we have the manpower to actually get the roads clear. So as fast as information is coming in, the government is going to be responding. The issue was after the storm, there was almost a 2-day period where there was no communication with Carriacou and Petit Martinique. As such, as information we started receiving it and assessing the information in real time, the government also responded in real time without any hesitation. So as you see, there was more utility equipment as well being packed up. We have the chainsaws and cutlasses, we have gloves, we have vests for all the volunteers that are going into Carriacou and Petit Martinique. And it's when the weekend they're a big issue that they get all of the resources. So as soon as word comes back to the central government of any issue, they're going to quickly respond. And this is a good demonstration of that. So the aid is coming, the aid is on the way. We're going to make sure that it gets to everyone. We do understand these frustrations, but it is a process of ensuring that all of the issues that are blocking the supply chain and the logistics are removed, and there's a very easy flow of goods and services into the country as required. So aid is on the way. It's coming to you.
They already on island, so they arrived in Carriacou long. All right? But just saying that they're doing a fantastic job. Things are happening. Everything will not happen overnight. And I know how it feels. So you might be affected, maybe your family member affected, house destroyed, maybe they're in a shelter, maybe they by somebody, and they want to get their house rebuilt as fast as possible. They want water back as fast as possible. They want electricity back as fast as possible. They want relief items as fast as possible. They want everything fast as possible. So they would then speak to their family members outside of Grenada, outside of Carriacou, outside of Petit Martinique, maybe in the United States, and they would describe what they're going through. But there might be people who are worse off than them. All right? So sometimes we have to be very careful. Very, very careful. Things are tough for the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, and it will be so for a lengthy period of time because they have to rebuild. And there are people in Carriacou and Petit Martinique who will be able to rebuild faster than others. They may have the means, they may have the resources to do it. And there are those who may not. So you have to also look after those who can't, who would not be able to quickly rebuild, to help them so that they can get to that point. So it's a very ticklish situation. It's not easy, but help is coming, right? They already received assistance and help, but more help is coming. We have people from Barbados, the government and people of Barbados coming to our aid. The people and government of Guyana, the people and government of Trinidad and Tobago, the people and government of other islands, they are stepping up to help. It would not be easy, but we have to start somewhere. I can tell you, the people are now at that place where they want to go back in their house. If their roof was partially destroyed or destroyed totally, and the house still standing. They just want help to go back in their house. And even if it's temporary, that is the kind of feeling, right? A good friend is saying to me, the government and people of Antigua, they are assisting. The government and people of Dominica, they are assisting. So look, things are happening. It will take some time for some, but things are happening. And you know, when you criticize, when you condemn, when you say all kind of things about Nawasa, all kind of things about Grenlec, all kind of things about Flow or Digicel, all kind of things about NADMA, or all kind of things about whatever department, remember, they're human beings. And it's not easy to know that you're out there sacrificing your time, your effort, your all. And the people who should be grateful and thankful to you, they're out there condemning you or crying you down or speaking ill about you. It's not easy. I see the amount of volunteers, young scouts, Girl Guides, Leo Lions, cadets, right? I mean, church groups. We can go on and on, community-based groups. They're out there volunteering their time and effort. Look at the amount of people who went out there and cleaned the streets. Clean the streets. It's not easy. It's not easy, but there are people who are making the sacrifice. There are people who are going out there and do what they must do to help our people. It is not easy, but we are grateful. We are eternally grateful to all of you who are volunteering your time and effort, the bikers, the different associations and so on. You're doing a fantastic job. You don't have to do it, but you're doing it because of the love for humanity, the love for your fellow men and women, your neighbors, your friends. And we are eternally grateful. Yes, so people are volunteering in many different ways. But you know, amidst all of this, there will be people who would use this opportunity to score cheap political points. They want to be relevant. Remember, for example, the NNP, they were always down and out, people not even bothering with them. Look how long they took to decide to do something for the people of Karakou. Look how long, days after. Then they decide, well, they're going to go and cook some hot meal and bring some portable toilets up there because of public pressure. You're not even seeing some of them. But there are some of them who play in politics. For example, Samaritan Purse. They would not come here because some pastor tell them come here. No, they would not. The Ambassador Tally Francis, I think, he was instrumental in getting the Samaritan Purse here. These organizations don't operate the way you think, where some pastor will pick up a phone and say, come here. But when they come to Grenada, they function using the churches. And nothing is wrong with that. But there are some people who been involved in politics and they're now pastors or bishop or whatever they are within the church, and they believe they can exploit the situation. In other words, they want to look good. They want to have a, I don't know, out there. I don't know what they want to have out there, but, this thing is about humanity. It's about caring for people and helping people. And I think the government is doing a fantastic job. We experienced Hurricane Ivan and Emily. Don't believe we didn't experience that. There are some young ones who did not. But we experienced that. And we knew, we know what we went through. And the NNP was in power then. And we know what happened. We know what Keith was when the storm came. All right? We know. Don't think we ain't know. People remember the battleship. They remember what took place. Don't fool yourself. Yeah. And not only that, we know the amount of food stuff that had to dump in Perseverance while people wanted it and needed those things. We know all those things. You think we forget that? And the amount of supporters of these people who got rich overnight because of that, we know. We know all about those things. But we're not going to inject it in the conversation because but we experienced that time. Ivan and Emily, right? So it's amazing. It's amazing. But I'm saying our people are pulling together. Our people in Grenada, in Carriacou, in Petit Martinique, amidst the ruin, amidst the devastation, we're still resilient. We're still pulling together. There are Grenadians in the diaspora raising funds, mobilizing resources to send to Grenada. And that's a great thing. It's a good thing. It's a wonderful thing. So don't give them the idea that what they are raising or gathering, and sending to Grenada is not going to the people it meant to go to. Don't give them that idea, because that is not true. The things that are coming in, quickly, they're sending it to the people in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. In fact, they have more than they can handle now. But they're asking people to volunteer. Volunteer. There are a lot of talkers, a lot of people who like to condemn and criticize. They're always negative. Always, always negative. But when it comes to volunteering your time and your effort, very few will volunteer or help in any way possible. I see with my own eyes. The people who went out, the majority of people who went out to clean, do the cleanup and so on, are NDC supporters. Some people may say, well, so be it. But the majority of people who went out on the 2 days to do the cleanup, the majority of them are NDC supporters. Hello? Hi. Yeah, well, you can't call me now because I'm on my program currently. All right, no problem. Yeah, so, and that's just the fact. That's just the fact, you see. If NNP was in power, you would have more NNP willing to go there. But we have to change that mindset. We have to change that mindset. Forget about the NNP and the NDC. Clean up. Clean up. It's not about NNP or NDC. Let's go there and clean up the place. The government cannot do everything. If we can help in cleaning up the place, it will go a long, long way. That is what's supposed to happen. There are some people, because the government not in power, they don't care. And they would express that. They will tell you that. It's sad, but that's the reality. That's the reality that we face. And I am simply saying we need to change that mindset. It's the mind. The battle is in the mind. This hurricane did not spare NNP or NDC. It affected everybody. If you go and you speak to the people in Carriacou and PT Martin, they will tell you. It did not spare anyone. So we need to work together to build this place. That is important. It would not be easy. Don't believe it would be. Because don't believe we have $20 billion sitting there. We need the assistance. We need the help wherever we can get it from. But things are happening on the ground. When you see the amount of young people who are volunteering their time and effort to clean, to comfort, to help build back. And again, I repeat, do not sit in your comfort zone and believe that the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique would just go on the Osprey because you tell them to go on the Osprey and come to Grenada and stay in Grenada. Do not believe that. You hear me? There are some people who believe that the government could just say to these people, pack your bag, go down to Grenada and live until your house is rebuilt. You go and speak to people who experience hurricanes around the world, and they would tell you what they would be thinking is to go back in their house where they were, even if they have to patch up something, even if they have to go and get the galvanized and straighten it and get this black thing that they normally use to block the holes, right? Even if they have to use that, they would do it. Even if they have to get the wood, the rafters and the lots and join it. Even if they have to straighten the nails or the screws, they would do that just to go back in their house. And especially if it's not totally devastated or mashed up or damaged. If it's partially, meaning that the roof gone, maybe the doors, the windows, and so on. I'm telling you, that is what normally happens. It's simple. And the people of Carriacou, they are somewhat deeply connected to their communities, to their culture, to their tradition and everything like that. They're deep. They're not like everybody here in Grenada. You just leave one parish and you go in another one. It's different. So you have to study the people. Right? You speak to the people in Petit Martinique and tell them to leave Petit Martinique and go to Carriacou. And they will tell you no. It's deep. So sometimes you have to understand. Understanding is key. You could listen, but you have to understand. And I have been in disaster management for 5 years plus. I've been to Humpton conferences and plenty training, and I've trained so many people in so many different ways. So I know what it is. So after the disaster, everything that family thinking or that person is thinking is to go back home. What can I do to go back in my house? People don't like to live by people, I'm telling you, people don't like to shack in by people. It's the reality. So I'm saying again, the government is working. Community groups, they're working. Church groups, church-based groups, they're working. Volunteers, they're working. Regional and international governments, they're working. Right? Things are happening for the people. And less negativity, it will be really great. And do not always think personal. There are too many personal beings out here. It's just about you and your family. Or it's just about you. If you don't have water, even if your neighbor don't have electricity, don't have water, don't have a roof over his head, but for you, you have a roof, you have electricity, but you don't have water. And man, you would go on social media and you cuss. You're cussing Nawasa and you're cussing government and you're cussing everybody. Because you're personal. Personal. Right? We have seen that in the past. You have a little issue, man, you're using Instagram, social media, Facebook and so on. But your neighbor is in a worse off situation. Stop thinking personal. You have 3 square meals a day. You have some people who have 2, but you're still vexed. You want more. Stop being personal. And also, sometimes when you're making decision, you have to remove the emotional aspect. Sometimes you have to use it. Sometimes you have to use your emotional, your feelings and so on. No problem. But many a times when you're making decisions, you have to remove the emotion aspect of it. Sometimes. So again, I urge you and I say to you, we will build back better than before. We are a resilient people. But sometimes you're a bit too personal and it's just about you. It's me. It's I. Just us, me, my family, and sometimes you gotta look beyond that. Let's look at the community. Let's look at those who are unable to do X and do Y. How can you help? How can you reach out? It's so important. It's not going to be easy. The recovery will not be easy. Because remember, there's already a challenge. That is, Karaku, you have to travel by boat or by plane to get to Karaku. PT Martinique, you have to travel by boat. So it will be a great challenge in going forward. So I pray and hope that we would support the volunteers, we would support NADMA and their staff, we would support the Red Cross. I see cadets, we would support them, Girl Guides, Scouts, Leo, Lions, other community groups, we would support them in any way that we can. There are businesses that are stepping up and giving towards this cause. It's a national issue, right? And let us support one another. It is not easy. Let us support one another during this time. All right? Just saying, in terms of giving you an update on where we are at $13,200 US. So we are at 13,200 US. That is where we are at. We are going towards 15. We want 15,000 US. And I'm talking about pledge plus actual cash. So as people who I know personally, many of them call me and they say, hey, Kem, I go pledge $100 or pledge $200 or whatever the amount. Or, well, I send this or I send that, or that person will link up with you. You understand? So as they do that, I would record it and calculate it and add it to the total. So right now, we are at $13,200 US. That's $35,244. That is where we are at. We need 40,000. So we are getting there. We're not far away from that target. So I want to encourage the folks still Zelle or send some cash if you can towards getting the equipment for our radio station in Karaku. And because there is 2 sites, one in Karaku and one in Granitang, we need to get 2 of everything. 2 transmitters, 2 of the antennas, 2 of the cables. We got 2 to set up. And communication is key during a time like this. So far, so good. So far, so good. So just saying again, it is not that I have all the cash, right? Because there are people who pledge, let's say, last night or yesterday or the day before. And they say they're going to give Friday. They're going to meet their commitment or during the week, or, But I added that because the people who deal with me, the people who donate and support, they've always been true and or real. If they say they're going to give you 5 cents, they're going to give you 5 cents. All right? So the total amount so far is 13,000 US. That's 13,200 $35,200 US. In EC, it is $35,244. It is my hope that between now, let's say today's Monday, during today to the weekend, we would reach the amount and we would be able to order the stuff. It's my hope that we can reach the amount by then. I will update you because there are people who are giving as we speak. They might be contemplating giving something towards the cause. All right. So you can Zelle. Let me just give you the info for Zelle. You can Zelle if you're in the United States, Zelle to Glenroy. All right. Glenroy Bethel. I need some pity Martinique. All right. Very nice gentleman. In fact, I get to know his number by heart because of that. All right. Zelle 1718 450 4436. All right. So that's the Zelle number there. That's the Zelle number. Right. So that's his number. Let me just verify. So if you want to give towards this cause, we need to get 40,000 EC or 15,000 US. We're at 13,200 US or 35,244 EC. All right. That is where we are at in terms of our undertaking. Let me make sure I get Glenroy's correct info here. And so Glenroy. All right, let me make sure. So his number again, 1718 450 4436. All right. That's nice. Okay, so we got that there. All right. Nice. So you can Zelle it, send that money to him, and I would get it. That's easy like 1, 2, 3. I will get it. It's easy like 1, 2, 3. All right. So again, just saying that we are getting there step by step, and I will update you. Once we reach the $40,000 mark EC, we will stop immediately the pledge. All right? We will stop that because that is important. All we are seeking to do is to get the equipment for Granditang and for Carriacou. Our station is located in Carriacou. That's the difference. The other stations, they are located here in Grenada. The station that carries our programs, Kim the King, he's located in Carriacou. So we need to support and make sure that we're back on air soonest. That is important. Very, very important. All right. So far, yes. So Kim the King, we regularly speak. He's okay. And he's in good spirit. Leo, also in good spirit. They're all okay. Trust me on that one. All right. So let's keep doing what we're doing. So you can Zelle the money or you can Western Union it, MoneyGram or Western Union. You know my number. My number, it's scrolling on the program there. 1473-415-4817. That's 1473-415-4817. You can send me a message and I can follow up with you and provide you with the details, and you can send the money via Western Union or MoneyGram. Same thing. I will go towards that. All right. So I want to urge you to remain focused. Keep your eyes on the prize. It's not easy. It's not easy outside here. All right. And there are those who are accustomed pledging their finances or their donation towards keeping the program going. It is important that you continue to do so. I did not send you a WhatsApp message month end And I intentionally didn't do that because of the situation in Carriacou and Petit Martinique and parts of Grenada. But you know who you are. You're accustomed giving a little to keep the program going, to meet the bills and meet the commitments, which is great. Wonderful. All right. If you feel the urge and you can do that, do it. It's not too late. All right. It's not too late. We have bills and commitments to meet, just like every other month. All right. So just saying. Folks, I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful day. Let's remain positive. Let's remain focused. We're going to rise from the ruins. Things will be better than before. I believe so. Let us continue to remain